first map. I said it at the time as well, like, these guys are very, very experienced players. So they've been in plenty of situations where things haven't gone their way and they've had to mentally reset. And it's not like they're these sort of young players stepping up to the pro scene for the first time. But they had some very frustrating rounds. That first map for them was a very frustrating map as a whole, I guess. And yeah, that's definitely still going to be somewhat present here on Anubis, but a much better start for them. Cleaning things up over towards the B-bomb site. Sorry, the A-bomb site. And yeah, they should be able to take this one without too many casualties. Case of Mizu kind of hunting a little bit here, but yeah, with the force spy in play, this hasn't been great for HOTU.
Yeah, certainly not a lot you can expect on a force buy. I mean, it's nice to have that expectation, but you can't really always make that guarantee happen.
I mean, they did it a whole load of times on Mirage, so at the start of the round, you definitely couldn't count them out, but after losing those initial duels on A, it was definitely round over. So big 2-0 should be comfortable for a third here as well, as HOTU have just got no money to come into this one with. A Deagle, okay, and a 5-7. So a couple of pistols, a little bit of util invested, but nothing too substantial. And Big kind of giving their opponents a taste of their own medicine. They're saying, this is Anubis, this is our turf. We are going to take those early rounds.
And it's nice to see that change of pace, right? We've seen a lot of chaos on that first map, and just sort of see the change of pace, allow these players to rack up some of these initial rounds without too much of an issue. Kind of brings us back to more familiar waters, but Hobbin getting a chance to play around with the ATM here. Rack up some money with the Mac 10, although had a bit more of a chance of potentially cleaning up a little bit more than that. Big 3-0, and this is where the action materializes.
Yeah, it's where the big guns come out, and Big actually playing somewhat of a bonus here. Couple of Galils still in play. In fact, I say a couple, there's actually 3 of them up against these 4 M4s. The AWP on Gokushima, he's kind of thrown himself into this. Could have done with a kill or 2 just to give him that extra few bucks to buy himself either a helmet or some util. The fact that there's 3 players without helmets here on this defense actually makes those Galils not too much of a contingency. Round number 4, worth its weight in gold here, though, for HOTU. And you can see Big just kind of tap on the brakes a little bit in this one. Making their way through middle, uncontested again here from the defense, and it gives Big a whole load of space. Oh, wow. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Captain being able to catch Swift Steel in the back of the head means that suddenly they only have to contest against 1 player here on the safe site. Nitsi, though, makes quick work of them, and he's still being a menace around the smoke until that nade takes care of him. 3-on-3 now. Tapson becoming a force to be reckoned with once more, but he still has some dirty work to clean up, which he's unable to. Favin reveals the position without being able to capitalize on Case, who turns around and lands in between the eyebrows. Crimbo now in a 1-on-2 with an A1. Not the ideal weapon you'd want to have an AK here, but does tuck himself all the way into CT. I'm not sure if he realized he's had that much mobility, but now that he's missed his shots, suddenly they have an opportunity and the flames will consume him. What a round from Case.
Wow. Yeah, that is really on Case's shoulders there, and to be honest, I don't think that was a great round from HOTU. Obviously, a brilliant recovery towards the end of it, but how that started off was just completely dire. Giving up mid-control like that and just playing the bomb site so exposed, it's not... Anubis is a very, very different map to Mirage, right? It might look the same, it might look all dusty and sort of Middle Eastern, but it's not. It's not the same map as Mirage. And on Mirage, both these teams were very, very happy to give up mid-control on their CT side and just play sort of 1 player maybe towards jungle, just watching top con, and then their A-site player either playing under balcony or maybe towards a CT spawn, just not exposed from connector. right? But giving up mid control like that, giving Big so much space, and playing in exposed angles on the A bomb site, that is a recipe for disaster. And disaster might have just struck again. Tabson, beautiful headshot and a nade to follow up. That's a great start here for Big.
Question is whether or not they're going to be able to convert on this impressive start. Starting to creep towards B now. Not committed just yet. Swift Steel dropping down from the bridge is able to bring the numbers back together, but Crimbo slowly opening up that A site with a buddy of his has also warranted the bomb to start to rotate over, and it's pretty much theirs for the taking. They don't really have to contest for it whatsoever. And the CT rotations are very fast because this map inherently incentivizes it. Now, by the time Nitsi starts to make himself relevant, they're already going to start to get the bomb down, but at least he's gotten their foot through the door.
A little bit more here to work with for HOTU. Again, Faven's in a brilliant position to cut off these rotations, though. They're entertaining the idea that he's here, but he still wins his gunfight. Hyped hits another shot, and this really will count HOTU out of this one. Despite the fact that they had the man advantage, despite the fact that they found the opening kills on the duels. Big are going to be able to put a fourth on the board and really just solidify this lead that they've managed to take. They're looking like a new team. They're looking like a much, much better side here on this map.
One thing I'm very interested in seeing is how much of that a recent meta shift on Anubis is going to affect these teams, because realistically speaking, when Anubis came out, and even up until very recently, it was a very T-sided map, and teams were sort of just scrambling to put together enough rounds on the CT to survive making it to the T side, right? But in the major, a lot of teams were able to adapt to a bit more, and although it's still not CT-sided just yet, it's still a lot more CT-sided. You know, probably gonna put it at like 40 to 60, maybe make the argument that a 10-5, 9-6 half is about as even as it can possibly get. Question is, has that sort of trickled down into these teams yet? Because, you know, Big, they were potentially a contender for the big games as well. So obviously, you know, they've been watching all of these matches. They've seen how these teams have adapted. I just want to see if that quickly trickles into their gameplay as well, both for HOTU and Big. But it would be very impressive if HOTU were able to adapt that quickly as well.
Boost over the smoke, hyped. Trying to take a bit of ground. That's huge from Case again. Just doesn't miss. And that hero rifle merits them the opening. Now, unfortunately for them, the gun that they've dropped isn't retrievable for now. Deagle desperate to hit ahead. Crimbo tagged down to 4 HP and sort of backs off of this fight a little bit. This is a good start for HOTU.
Steel, that P250 up close could be a menace. Now, I'm not sure if they spotted him as they were crossing over towards the pillar, because the flashbang made it a little bit of a spot. Let's see. He's able to get the first one. Swift Steel, unfortunately, the bomb being right in front of him. Also, tunnel visions them into him. Mizu coming in from the back lines also has some support in the form of Case with an AK. Definitely a very doable prospect here for him.
Yeah, especially considering this still down, hyped. Oh, just trying to take a bit of space, trying to get a fight. If he could win that duel, then it gives them a load of options, but ultimately it just ends up dropping the bomb in no man's land. WP put to amazing use. Once again, a scrappy round where there isn't too much invested. There's only the 2 weapons saved from the last and an eco around it. But the heroes shine. And they're able to pull it off. 4-2, and what a great position to be in.
Insta smoke. Атака по даме кирәргенә була. Баданы занимает атлар, лоткалары. Пока карта контролда жатыр. Миды таста.
I'm not sure if we can sort of paint the narrative of the 2-1 anymore. HOTU looking a
Apakah
lot more
kontrol olacak?
comfortable on Anubis than I honestly anticipated.
Pakati kaydılar,
Slow
pakati
traversal from the T's, who slowly just racking up some utility to try and
Takpat
gain
beberapa
some
benda.
space towards
Başka
middle.
belajar. Fake ada.
HOTU playing it very conservatively. You don't really see that too often, right? You see a lot of mid contests. You see a lot of those shenanigans where they're getting aggressive, but not here.
Well, here come the Tech 9s. Gokushima getting things opened up onto Tapson. 45 seconds left. And the pressure somewhat on here for them to make a move. And the bomb over towards B main as well. Hasn't really got time to make that lengthy rotation back around. Have to commit to the fight. Keep those Tech 9s.
4-2, 4-2.
It's only good for one as Case doubles up.
Başka turanlar,
Opportunity, a
başka
window
turanlar.
here for the bomb to be planted.
Vad då?
Fights off all the defenders.
Oh!
How does he find another? He was mid-reload. A massive whip from
Хорош.
Swift still. And Gokushima's got it all on his shoulders. Nice shot though.
Bad self-test.
He's able to bring it down to a one-on-one,
Chola,
but Hyped is just holding an angle.
Хорош.
Does he get the drop on him? Missed shot from
Taş
Hyped.
не taşımaydı.
Oh man, some of the slump from Mirage carrying over into Anubis, and that is a big opportunity to be missed. Gokushima able to close it out 1
Gokushima.
versus 2. And that doesn't even come off the back of Gokushima sort
4-2
of
будут
doing
когда
anything
сразу
crazy,
два дома,
right?
рамана 1-2
First
было.
skill, he has his knife out,
1-2
gets
тащим.
enough time to
Вау.
switch over to the Deagle and then one tap. Second kill, peeks out, looking at the wrong position,
Jara блин.
just gets whiffed on
Force
and
buy
gets
more
enough
oldu.
time to make the
Force buy
adjustment to
more
his
oldu,
crosshair.
Agaklar.
How does this happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Whiffs from both parts that round.
Dudu baydadılar.
The fact that Faven's got away with a triple like that is unreal, especially that third kill. Not one that he should be winning. And then, yeah, Gokushima should have just been taken out. He's walking on with his knife out. And as you say, he's got to pull out the Deagle. It's got to do the little spinny animation. I mean, he should have been dead to rights.
Контакт был, что ли?
Instead, Big now down to basically nothing. A couple of Deagles in play, but it won't be Tech 9s and armor like we saw in the last. Oh, okay. Maybe that's enough. Keto still fired up. He's still hitting these big entries. And that'll be a rifle for them here as well.
If they can take care of Swift, suddenly the world is their oyster, but that op shot hasn't connected.
Yok AWP'ni
Now Swift
çevirdiler.
realizes
AWP'lılar.
that op might have been collected by a second player,
Хорош.
but Hyped simply
Başkan
gets
üstünü
caught off
gördüler
guard
mi?
by Nitsi moving into the angle as well. There's a third wielder of Arthur's sword, and Crimbo will finally be the one mighty enough to pull it out of the rock. Captain
Tapat.
trying to make some quick work happen with the Deagle as well, but it's still a 3 versus 3, so the CTs are very much still in a strong position. Tapson finally connects a shot, but Swift is
Kapitan
continuing to bring the
Kamanski
numbers back every time they start to lose them.
In-game
33
leader.
seconds, and now the T's have to make a move.
Well, still in play. Faven doesn't want to aggress further forward to risk his life in pursuit of a rifle. As they start to work back towards the B site.
Lavadi.
How does Faven hit that shot? It's ridiculous. And it gives them a lifeline in this one. Mizu should be able to rotate just before that
Хорош,
one
bomba
gets
десь
planted. Time is of the essence, and he's able to deny it.
Тихо,
Crimbo making a whole load of noise. Can't
надо.
afford to shift for it. Has to grab that bomb.
На яйцах просто вышел,
In
блядь. На
pursuit of
яйцах.
frag, and Mizu will be able to take him out. Time
Стальные яйца была.
is his best friend in that round to allow them to tie things up. But my goodness, Big. They get that one as close as it really can come, considering they were on
Başka
a full eco.
turbata
So even though they'll be a little bit bummed out that they weren't able to win it, that is a very successful round with no investment.
Кримба рахатшылах. Кримба тылышты. Тют-тют. Пока играбельно. На пике биг.
Honestly though,
After.
HOTU's having such a decent performance on the CT side already. Being able to equal up the numbers and potentially
Control map'e.
nudge Big into economic collapse in the next round. If they end up taking out this one, that would be
Olta
very
midleri
impressive.
mide ukreplaydadılar. 2 ulan.
It's back onto the buy for them.
Пока тишина. Пода гире хурдуктар была.
A couple of these guys, but
Gokushima
firepower has
AWP'den bir de.
been their best friend. big opening kill for Mass trying to press
Oh.
forward. Nitsi does get a little bit of information, but it won't be the kill he
If
needs. And with Tabson still farming towards middle,
Мездовигна надо.
kills need to come in response, and they
Позиция
need to
должна
come soon. Bomb's starting to work
Stay
its way
there,
around to A. Mizu's in a good position, but timing everything here for
Атака
him.
подавление. Сильно подбегили к нему. Современный удар. Фейк раскидывал.
I really respect the fact that
Под
Nitsi
Бауля ходили
decided to
на
back off. You know, didn't press forward, didn't try to rush the issue
Защита под
whatsoever,
поста.
realized that he's got a very decent opportunity.
Стабильки читай да.
Scratch that thought. Taps and Hype going wild, and although Nitsi did try and force something out this time around, not really a whole lot you can do when you're stuck with a Famas against 4.
Again, has a decent crack at it, but it's not going to go his way. Big able to take 5. And I'm very surprised that AWP is ready for that fight. The aggressive play towards the B site. Height had his wits about him. So the lead taken here by Big, but still back and forth, still contentious. And a force buy here for HOTU. They're not willing to sort of drop the ball yet, not willing to roll over and let their opponents take any further of a lead here. Not just yet, not considering how successful these low force buy rounds have been. So Mizu's going to jump right into a FAMAS. Fukushima with his scout. He's found himself quite a few kills with this weapon throughout this series so far. Everybody else with the pistols, a little bit of util to work with as well. So a few flashes to accompany some of these peaks. We'll see AKs all round for the other side of things. Maybe a bit of a tempo change here for Big. We'll see. They've been quite aggressive towards middle. They've actually been quite commanding with taking these fights in mid, winning them, and then with that map control, they've kind of got that of being a bounce between each. And that's something that they've been working really, really well.
Üç A vardı. A'nı stakladılar. Gruplaydılar. Под bölü. Kokuşmölü.
Wanting to have a relatively easy
Все
round this time
защиты
around, just moving
арсенал
in,
просто.
getting those kills comfortably. Case obviously still wants to make it as tough as nails, but it isn't really going to amount to much.
Длинные коллар.
6-4, and
Защита длинные коллы надо.
Big are now actually making themselves very comfortable. The money is going to break down for HOTU. It's going to be on about $2,000 a pop, so not going to be a buy in any capacity probably.
Немецтер хатчылар өлбек.
Yeah, not a single one of them has enough money to really warrant much of a purchase. I can kind of see why Gokushima goes for a deagle, maybe just to try and get a cheeky shot off, but again, less than optimal.
Под Б стактаутер.
Quick stack over to the B site now. The AK is wanting to simply run into it. Nade chucks down the HP of Gokushima to nail the
Оксе бар пикает.
well.
Бары
Just a quick chance for the AK to turn it into a firing range and gain some confidence back for Big after what happened to them on Mirage. But still, mostly a game that is back and forth. Still very under control for both teams and can go either way. Now, this is going to be one of the biggest rounds, though. I think both teams definitely recognize that this CT side economy is hinging on collapse right now. So for HOTU to be able to carve this one out suddenly puts them in contention for having a decent CT side. Just having that 5 to 6 round mark makes it so much easier once you do get onto the terrorist side.
Faven's in a good position here. The M4 starts to work his way around the top of the smoke. Tabson reads it like a book. And Kito takes another. All of a sudden, this one's falling apart as well. Gokushima says, oh, you know what? I either go big or go home in a scenario like this. And he's sent packing. Swift still Nitsi. Not a whole lot more to bring into this one. The M4 will be carried into the next round. Big will take an 8. And yeah, they're starting to pull away a little bit from this one.
Yeah, not a single kill being collected by the and everyone just crumbling across the board, not a single duel, nothing. Oh, what's going on? Not sure why it's
Exit frag.
planned. Okay. Is that what happened to Hyped on Mirage?
I think it was actually. It gives me a few seconds to talk about this, right? If I remember correctly, Faven jumped on the plant and he had enough time. He got on it in 4 seconds.
Victor
Then
Gunner
somebody started
safety
pushing
efter
around the triple
Malbatar
box
och
and was
Linkor gjorde
potentially
en
going to kill him. And he came off of the plant to not die. His teammate covered him and killed the guy. And then when he got back on the plant, there's only 3 seconds left and he didn't have time. So if he'd have just committed to the plant, had trust in his teammate, and to be honest, just done the right thing, which is I have to commit
Was
to
it
the plant.
Faven that was working with
Там
Hyped, or was it Hyped?
зачитает.
I'm pretty sure it was Hyped.
You think it was
Читает,
Hyped? Okay,
просто
maybe,
читает.
that was clean from Tapson. Wow, okay, maybe it was
25
Hyped,
на
but
5.
that's how it panned out, right? So, yeah, I understand the adrenaline, the pressure in a situation like that, but it was a huge mistake. A huge mistake that's still got to be rattling in their brains right now.
Have you looked over to the ADR of Tabson? And the kills?
Oh, well, I have now.
Чела военный бук. Чела военный.
5 and 5.
And he's got 200 ADR.
That's
honestly for a second I
Да.
started second guessing myself. I was like, is that a bug? Is that normal?
Yeah, I mean, he's been crazy consistent with these entries, especially towards middle, but that is wild. That is absolutely wild. For the IGL as well.
Расстрелом
Unreal. Zeus could have been nice, but Crimbo denies any opportunity of that one coming into fruition. So should just be another clean round here for Big. They're definitely looking a little more comfortable here on their map pick.
Overpass karrieren eller på Overpass karrieren är på.
On the cards, 10, even likely. As Keto keeps picking them away.
Minus Kito.
That's a consolation prize if you're Gokushima. You get a kill in the back of someone's head and not really much to write home about. Now Big potentially flirting with double digits, while our friends here at HOTU, they're feeling a little left out.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Up until a few minutes ago, you know, it was like 4-4, 5-4, and it looked like a pretty back and forth game, but suddenly it's all just been a tide in the favor of Big. Suddenly that T-side advantage is truly being flexed by Big. And I really want to see if HOTU can actually turn this around. Now, it's interesting that they've gone for a double op setup, and I want to see how they try and play this out. I'm expecting there to just be mid and A presence, because then you can potentially just leverage a solitary player on A who can kind of hold down the line by himself. Or you can maybe even see some aggro AWP on B, who knows?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. These last few rounds, they've been the Tabson show. That double up setup, I mean, Gokushima, he's been a little bit absent from this game, but he hasn't had many opportunities to have this AWP. So now he's got one in hand. We'll see if he can really bring some damage to the table.
Yeah, okay, so not really any aggression with the AWP over towards middle. Instead, they're just sort of playing one AWP on each side. I think they're trying to double up on the firepower just to have that extra bit of oomph when it comes to fighting back.
Definitely slower stuff here. Big knowing that they're going to be up against the buy. There's been plenty of rounds where they've been up against these shaky forces. They've maybe felt a little more confident to make an early move. This time around, a minute on the clock, meticulously taking this middle control. It looks like it's going to be a B split. I'm interested by the fact that they don't actually aggress further through middle and try and wrap around. Instead, single-pronged approach. 4 players stepped up here.
Oh, this is where the CTs have to shine. They have to turn. Flashbang delays the progress of the team. And Mizu has a nice little angle, and the smoke is able to get to Gokushima. Makes that work as well. Headshot with a sliver onto Hyped. Crimbo suddenly is completely left out of the conversation. Beautiful hold from Mizu. Uses the smoke perfectly to his advantage, and that little shot at the end on the opera was just icing on the cake.
Yeah, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. And HOTU just read that well.
Safe to regen in
Not baited out by the aggression towards middle. Or I say aggression, we'll call it presence, right?
This round bar.
Stack up on the B site. The crossfires are perfect. The AWP's on the angle for the one player coming in from Canals.
Last
And
round,
the other four,
половина
they
тир.
just walk right into the blender. 9-5. Opportunity for a 6 here for HOTU. If they can take it, then yeah, they're not in a bad position to be ending the half. On
Fan
their
vet så
opponent's
ofta
pick. On the CT
Ei,
side
Tabsen
as
så
well.
ofta
We know that a lot of
lähtä.
teams have kind of
Taat
lent towards
pettäsis.
playing the T side here a little bit on Anubis in recent months. Double AWP setup once again in play.
Surfit.
And Big bringing out all the stops to try and make this happen.
Защита под Ами укрепляет Ами. Атака халдигна просто. Push короче. Подак ирелер болу. Атака. Подагит бетаратта.
Very slow round to start things off for Big. You know, that is a little uncharacteristic
Проблема
because you
тягнул
generally see them
было.
poke and prod at
Киски
extremities of the map.
стягивает дата.
And they've relatively been comfortable on aggressing middle. They just haven't quite done that this time around. But Shima, his AWP is quickly overwhelmed by Keto. And that could have been the gap. The crack in the defense that they were looking for. Goku Shima has been largely unsuccessful in bringing some of his performance onto Anubis. And Big will take full advantage of it. Now with HOTU sort of scrambling to see where that pressure is going to pile on, they can start to take advantage of this.
Well, it was a couple of rounds ago we pointed out Tabson hitting 25 frags. He's not moved from that stat line. But with 20 seconds left on the clock, we need the entries here towards the A site. Opening shot from Nitsi, but can't connect the second. Tabson jumps around now, needs to aggress these fights, and he does take one, but the trade's there from Case. They're stacked up, 10 seconds left, bottom in no man's land, and they just have to keep funneling in for this. Faber needs the frags, but the numbers still swinging. Faber biding time, and it's perfect. Faber with a nice headshot. But they have not got a chance in the last round on the other side of the site. We're going to jump to a short break. We'll be back in the second half in just a moment.
say goodbye? It's better to say goodbye. Why did you say goodbye? It's better to say goodbye.
Big is facing the threat of HOTU right now. A chance for HOTU to knock down the Titans into the lower bracket. Is that going to happen? While Deity and M&J on the mics to figure out whether or not that will.
Yeah, felt like Big got off to a really commanding lead, but things started to close up towards the end of the first half, and HOTU, with a bit of wind in their sails, looked to try and carry the momentum. Case charging forward, they've taken the mid control, and they're working their way into the A site. Crimbo's jewel, please though, take them a new one. And that's going to get things rolling nicely. Tabson and Hype chiming in. Crimbo can't quite find himself a third, but he's done his job. He's done it nicely. And Goku Jr. left with an impossible task that will be made even more impossible, if that's possible. I don't know. Double digits for Big and HOTU. Yeah, that's a bit of a rough one.
Honestly, that comes down to Crimbo actually saving Hype there, because Hype misses some of those crucial shots as they're walking in from middle, right? Misses maybe 5-6 shots, and by that time, you know, he's probably cooked already. But luckily for him, HOTU miss a few shots on him as well, and they're focused on Crimbo, but he makes those dualies work just so damn well. HOTU, though, still have a bit of a lifeline. They realize they're on the T side. No need to rush things. Can just run in with the Glocks and maybe just wait it out for those AKs. And honestly, if you want to come back on this map, you want to be on that counter side. You can easily crumble the economy of the CTs. Just those long rotation times as well. Make it so much harder to actually convert off of stacks and stuff. See how this one plays out. Hyped, playing the close angle. MP9. I can already hear the cha-chings as they start to two, three, switches over to
Kayıp
the,
farmigin şu yolust.
to the
Şu
pocket
bak
Mac 10.
farmigin. Minus 3.
Ching, ching, ching. Cash register. Whole load of money for him. $1,500 there.
ترى قريب ببلا.
Crimbo.
Crimbo.
Be able to finish things off. They almost line up for him. A little bit messy, but
وجهها
there we
بالكل.
go. All right. One of the last bullets in his belt. Puts things on to 11 here for Big. So a 5-round lead. HOTU. They'll pull the guns out. And they will be up against a little bit of a bonus here. So a chance for them to get their foot in the door. A chance for them to maybe pick up a couple of rounds. Tabson's ADR dropped off a little bit. Gone down from 200 to 155, but still nothing to grumble about.
Insta smoke mid bidde Gokushima.
But signs of him slowing down is never a good thing. I think he was a big reason that they were able to take so many of those rounds.
Tabii agresiften yazdan da
unfortunately,
soyda esler.
the big game player has been taken out by Case.
Tabii agresivный, да. Агрессивный, да.
Suddenly, Big's chances in this round have exponentially dropped. Opening frag collected by HOTU, slowly now trying to work something out off the back of this. Problem is, are Big going to react? Will they try and reclaim some of the space they've lost? Hyped. Wants to go around the corner with his MP9. Flashbang is great, is able to capitalize, switches over to the AK as well, and smokes it out. Realizes that he's done just enough to keep them afloat. No reason to try and contest this even further. A 4v4 is very palatable for the CT side, and with the time ticking down, the advantage slowly goes back the way of Big.
Yeah, I absolutely love that from Hype. So much discipline as well, as you say, for him to not overstay his welcome. He's done what's required. He's upgraded his rifle. Now you just want to get back out of that. HOTU regrouping. About to hit towards this B site. Keto with good timing and a flash accompanied.
This
flank could be huge though. Swift is in a brilliant position. Just needs to get the timing right.
Зря, добейте, кискины,
Maker here,
было,
but he's missed quite a few shots, which
3 на 2.
means Mizu and Nitsi can suddenly move in.
Играбельно.
Crimbo and
Со
Hype
стороны Адвара.
down to a 2-on-3, but this is still very
Браво,
doable.
Вахтанг
Swift steal
было.
allows one of them to cross over. Hype, though, hits a pixel shot on
Хорош.
Swift, and
Всё.
suddenly it's down to Crimbo, 1-on-2,
Хорош!
which turns into a not-on-2.
Хотулары!
Beautiful work on the big side.
That's huge from Swift Steel, and he doesn't really get the credit for it, right? He creeps all the way through middle, goes for the wraparound towards the B site, and he just times it perfectly so that he actually takes contact at the same time as his
Защита хочу
teammate.
еще,
And
блин.
whilst he doesn't find the
Сибирь
kills,
байговар.
he does a little bit of damage. He sells this distraction
Эсу пахал
that
пата.
just diverts all of the attention from the
Форсом
players on
алdılar,
the
bir
big site.
aldılar.
And instead of, them having this crossfire and being able to deal with the players coming in from main, they're all of a sudden distracted.
Midcore'in
They
fazla
have
kill
to try and
götürüyor.
turn around. They get taken out from the
Хорош.
sidelines. And,
Aggressive,
well,
хорош.
11-7 the scoreline goes. They don't have money to reinvest, despite the fact the last round was a bit of a bonus. It was still an
Так,
expensive
под
one.
Бакири охоту
As
было.
Hyped buys right into an AWP, everyone else will just be on pistols and Kevlar. There'll be enough cash for a proper investment in the next, but a good opportunity for HOTU to take 8 hit. It's 30
Honestly,
seconds already on the clock.
I'm already looking very impressed, or feeling very impressed by
Олтер
Big,
бен главных
because
всех
their
утрата.
flash timings in the previous round were so perfect that I
Поддержка
really
идем,
thought they
поддержка
were going to
идем,
be
бран.
able to close it out. Now,
Раскачивайся, когда
if
Баракири
they can
вторит.
continue to sort of have that teamwork going into the rest of the game,
Солары галягам блядер форс.
I have high hopes. But HOTU, the ball is slowly rolled its way into their court. If they can manage to make this 8 suddenly a 3-round deficit with that T-side advantage,
Подагири охоту.
that's a lot for Big to swallow.
Сплит А.
It's definitely felt better in some of these early round situations. There it is again.
Хорош, ниндзя вообще. Чё же ниндзя?
That's pretty impressive at that kind of range.
А, по всех
Kojima
второго.
catching out the rotations as well. Kito creeping up with a 5-7 does manage to slip through the
Kito
smoke.
Vafana
That's a bit
до
of an
конца
element of
воровал.
surprise as he's found himself a rifle as well. And they all seem to be pretty
Хорош.
focused on Farben. But it doesn't matter. Mizu finds the kill. Nitsi finishes off the final. And 11-8 scoreline goes. As I said before, enough money to go for a proper investment here. Hype, having bought that off in the last, won't have enough for another one in this round. So it'll be rifles by the looks of things. No. Okay, another half investment. Wow. Okay, they are really mismanaging this economy. This is a bit of a weird one.
Пока близкий счетом воров кондуктор.
Yeah, I think they do rely quite a bit on the AWP, and they should, because, you know, Anubis is just a whole lot easier to play when you've got that AWP.
Не додавил на лэр.
Factor, Capson
Агрессивно
gets
гнал,
overwhelmed by the
Сибирь
flashbang, and Swift and Mizu will quickly overwhelm him.
Чекай дулар да. Бахам позиция. Ще лэрдэ.
Trying to make that P250 work, but simply not enough bullets to fly out to
Hype
make
it.
it happen.
Навет на
Tito
ренесте.
eventually gets mowed down by the backhand as well, and although
Бля,
Farben
Kito.
gets away with a
Kito на
couple
ренесте
decent
бедя.
ones,
Гасты
Crimbo
кыпта.
will be left all alone to his devices with a Nova,
Фильман зови да эслэр.
which could have potentially done more if it was next sem, but next time.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. I mean, I
Kush
completely
Mokton
agree with you, right? Fair enough.
Ползен дед.
It's not a buy round without that AWP on Hypes, right? Very, very important piece to the puzzle for a map like Anubis on the CT side. But if that's the case,
Покушмау
buy
на
it on the
хавалдыры
crossfire
по карта.
round, right? Save your pennies. And yeah, it's kind of cost them an extra round there that it didn't
Гокушима,
necessarily
Гокушима,
need to.
ктаджа.
And this kind of big old gap that they had, this big old buffer that they've been working with, is really, really starting to close. Hypezorb back in play, Tapson on the rifle. He's definitely slowed down though since moving over.
Сплит бомру.
Kojima
Сплит
pressing
Гокушима хорош, бля.
So that's so unfortunate. Faven's timing only allows him one. And
Просто
the
на
B-bombs like
яйцах
crumbles
Кирилл.
again.
Просто на яйцах.
I'm not even sure if Big want to have this conversation just yet. I think they're relying on seeing whether or not Tapson can get
Так это
that early
проблема, блин.
kill.
Все ставят
If he
автор
does,
на
maybe they
скрам.
can attempt that 3
Вторых
versus
плах.
3, but
Всех
if
авторов
not,
надо.
if that early kill doesn't come through, then they don't even want a part of this.
4 в 3,
AWP
хотя игра видно.
much better value in the next round. Tapson, though,
Safe
just
över
keeping one
Safe
foot
on
in the
exit
water,
fragon rakt rakt.
dipping his toes in the water,
Get the hell
just
out.
seeing if the temperature is
Let
good
me
enough
go
for him
doctor.
to hop into a retake.
What is
Quickly
too hot?
realizes,
It's
yeah,
red
it's thought the general euphemism was to say that it's too cold.
Well, it is, isn't it? But it's definitely not cold. There's a bomb on the site. There's a whole load of terrorists. I'd call that the opposite of cold. But I would jump in a pool if it was bubbling. Unless it's a hot tub, of course. But if it's boiling, boiling hot, it's gonna burn.
Iki çöy vurukları gördük. Badağına bak be. Meleğin kaydakhan alır.
Hot tub adventures aside,
Kaç
10
aysan
to
alır da bir
11,
sıra vuruklarını.
and HOTU are now quickly contesting big scoreline. A very decent shot for them here to potentially tie it out, but they still have to get past this AWP fight. Unfortunately for Big, it's not really been a huge contender in this game. You know, Hype's had a lackluster performance on Mirage. He's missed quite a few shots in Anubis as well. And although he's going positive in this game, it's still a lot of responsibility that doesn't really have anyone to lead. HOTU, good collection early on from Hector. Another flashbang to go through, and Nipsey will capitalize on it. A few shots go through as well, which will nail down Sav, and they see actually not a whole lot. That second nade from Tapson definitely puts Nitsi in the graveyard.
3-4.
A 4-on-3. Now he's going to start to fade. The duel starts to take place as well. Crimbo will come out on top. Mizu quickly contesting middle. Hype wanting to dip his toes in the water here, but he simply realizes that he would allow it to turn into a 2v2 if he tried to get a little too aggressive. 3-on-2 now. Beautiful shot by Gokushima. Doesn't even overextend, so he's not part of the equation when it comes to Hype being scoped in on him. 2v2. How is this going to unfold?
Oh, Gokushima, that's a shame, but Mizu fights back. Oh, just doesn't see Faven. Has to try and spin to get it done. It's messy in the 1v1, but he just can't convert it. Big will be able to take it to 12, but the economy fragile again. Another scrappy round, and HOTU have got loads of cash to reinvest. I thought the round was done. When Gokushima started to regress like that into heaven, and he had the bomb on his back, I'm thinking, well, he's facing into 2, that's it. This is where this round ends. But the fact that he's actually been able to find that pick onto Tabson and then slip away, untraded, Hype's just not got the wide enough angle to actually take that gunfight, is just beautiful. Reads his opponents like a book, but unfortunately, walks right out into the open, into their crosshairs later on in the round. So,
Gokushima hoktan
he makes up for it. Big opening onto Faven.
He's had to chime in now.
Kita
Start to fade. Case will get the advantage though as it's fading because he's sitting inside the smoke. Tabson still a solitary defender on the B side, and he will be warranting some rotations to come through. But now the T is starting to overrule a little bit. Molotov doesn't deter Case. He's able to creep past. Hype gets caught. Mizu adds one more to the tally as well. And suddenly, Crimbo's left all alone. Even that kill isn't going to allow him an outlet into the site. Very chaotic round.
Crimbo kind of has to save here. But you can see he's already in a pretty dangerous position. He's already being hunted here too. Nitsi wants to try and get rid of that sniper, so Crimbo has to exit very, very carefully. There's still a fair bit of time on this bomb, so still a fair bit of time to hunt him down. So they tick all the boxes, clear all the corners. So people will get away with this one. So AWP will be carried into the next. 12 to 11. Not a lot of money to buy around it. So by the looks of things, we might see a couple of pistols come out, something like that, but nothing too substantial here for Big. And the likelihood is unless either Crimbo or unless he drops it over to Hype. Yeah, okay, so he drops it over to Hype. Unless he can have a big impact with this sniper, we'll see this scoreline tie up. Remember, by the way, this is Big's map pick. HOTU are already a map up in the series, and they're the massive underdogs. They're exceeding expectations.
I think the narrative we were talking about is
Mid-proof ba?
slowly
Mid-proof daw
materializing
tama.
into the actual story. Hyped. Has a bit of a chance at a pot shot early on. Molotov is going to deter them from falling back, but Hyped wastes no time in
60
getting
minus
out of there.
Thompson.
Capson
Sorter
quickly taken care of by that AK from Swift Steel, and suddenly the map is kind of split.
minus kito. Biro ako pagbabaran beler. Padawaran na
Well,
rin.
him not being able to find that opening shot means that
Paday kito.
there's no early advantages that go their way, and as his teammates fall like flies, nothing more comes of it.
Crimbo.
Scout won't be able to hit the shot. Crimbo does take one with the 5-7, but instantly traded. Hype, please go and save that sniper. This round is a lost
Are they
cause.
gonna allow him to, though?
Good.
Oh, I think they spotted him. I think they know where he is. Hyped. Thankfully for him, he does manage to hit the shot on the exits, but there's so much more where that came from. He's trying to bait out shots, pops his head. There's a third player there, and man, that is just a little too overwhelming when you're trying to save the op. 12-12. HOTU already a map up, equalizing the numbers, and BIG, this is one of their final chances to still stay relevant in this game.
Yeah, this is kind of ridiculous, and I mean, the pressure there, happy to expend as many men as required to get rid of that AWP. They've got so much money in the bank, and they've got the confidence as well to go with it. No AWP in play, it's so impactful getting rid of Hype Sniper. Just the rifles to work with. Not a whole lot of util either. Just feel pretty spongy right now.
Aggressiva na rin
boosted up. No one facing into middle as of yet, but Thompson just deployed smoke. Remember, he was 25 to 5. Now it's at 28 to 13. So still going above and beyond, still top fragging on the server. But definitely not putting up the kind of numbers that he was before. And again, he's just caught with his pants down.
Yeah, that molly didn't do him any favors. Doesn't realize that they've crept so far up middle, and
Oh,
Crimbo doesn't realize that they're already in the house, unable to defend. And suddenly, it's all starting to look bleak for BIG. I'm not sure if they want to even try and flirt with this 3 versus 5 retake.
Okay, will be taken out, but again, this kind of economic damage is pretty irrelevant. For BIG here, it's just about saving these rifles. I don't think they care too much about finding the kills to go with it. It's going to be 13 here, though, for HOTU. If they can find these rifles, it's going to force BIG onto a very weak buy, potentially even an eco in this next round. And allow them even closer to the map and series point. Case. Oh, he's going to spot it. Yes, he wins the gunfight. Oh, that's insane. Only one rifle carried across. That's brutal.
Проблема у бигов начинается.
In such a difficult economic spot. Not necessarily that it's completely broken economy, but now they have to make a decision, right? Do they mess with their economy now to try and quickly stop HOTU in their tracks? Or do they double down, allow HOTU to get to 14 before they pull out the big guns for one last ride? I mean, they've got an M4. Hype can drop another one. Maybe they can throw together some FAMASs, but then that puts them out of commission on round 15. Or at least a contest for 15 when it comes to HOTU. I think when we talked about this, we talked about how Anubis could potentially be just a rite of passage for BIG, and that HOTU would have to do it on map number 3. They're in it to win it. They're living in the present. They want to end Anubis, and Gokushima wants to be the first aggressor into the B site. AK boosts is able to collect 2. They catch the boost, so they know they're around damage, but it simply doesn't materialize into enough. Rotations now starting to come illegal.
Oh, Thompson took it.
Thompson gets away with 2 crispy ones, and suddenly it's a lot more palatable. Very, very doable scenario. Tabson might have just bought them a lifeline, but they need to capitalize on it now.
Thompson smurftu Germanna.
How many times does Tabson need to buy these lifelines for them?
300 IQ просто.
He might need to
Читайдылар
that
да
up
bunu
even
kan.
more.
Nah,
Gokushima
minus
might be
screen
on
ba.
the server, but it's Tabson that
Oh,
needs
mana
to go
читай давата,
Super
читай
Saiyan
давата.
right now. Coming in from main.
Кенттен келген читай
Eagle
даваттар.
needs to pay the bill.
Oh, kırdı.
There
Хорош.
it is. Oh, nearly connects the headshot, but unfortunately, Mizu has some Kaioken off his own. 14 to 12. Now big. One last ride, one last showing.
Tera bu 15
They
round
want to stop
laftarından.
HOTU.
Evet, başlıyor 16 round
Yeah, but
laftarından.
all
Çok
the
şiddet
anime
gibi.
references, I don't know any of them.
12 aşağı TV 12 mesele laftar komandana.
14
Just
to
had to
12.
grow up
Uman
with
ki
it.
bilir. Kutular, sahalar.
Fine. Culture thing. Double up setup.
Case-
Heights and
case
Crimbo
var.
to work with them. Gokushima with
Diğer
one on the
yine
other side of
Mandır.
things, but he's been pretty
Mandır.
powerful with it in these last couple of rounds. This is for 15. This is for series point for HOTU. Early spread around the map.
Kaybet içeri smoke kuşuma
Flip
verdi.
smoke as well. Battle of the
But they-
Titans goes his way as the
Haydi
Orc
artık kurban.
prevails.
Nade from Keto.
Хороший тайминг kaptı Mizu.
Ooh, nice try from Keto.
Okey gittiler.
Connector, but no! Mizu,
zaten
he
Mizu.
nearly had the drop on two players,
Sağ
but
ol.
one of his
Çoğulun.
feet touches the molly.
Anız kırağına baydıra
And that
baydıra
suddenly
bakacak.
puts him out of contention. Mizu had such a decent chance to potentially turn things around. Unfortunately, not a whole lot that Nitsi can do big. They're going to continue to delay the Grim Reaper. Continue to give him the wrong address. Just to see if they can try and claw this one out.
Bir tek baydıra.
That kind of felt like Mirage in a nutshell
Katılar
until they
direkt
actually put
baydıra.
themselves
Allah
onto that
hatırladı.
point, and then it was like, okay, yeah, maybe they can actually get this done. But yeah, it did feel like they were on the back foot, and they were constantly.
Nere Gokushima. Ki
sort of
entry
putting out
fragman bir
these
yaha.
big pocket rounds just to deny things, just to deny
Gokushima solda
their
taşıyılan
opponents from
nada.
taking it their
Ground.
way. Height is super aggressive here in middle. Needs to be careful with a boost over the top. Gokushima could have taken him out. The support's there. It does act as a bit of a deterrent, so could have been a big early win, a fight there to push it HOTU's way.
Big'tir,
Man,
mid'tir.
that's so chaotic of a
Tricky.
an early round that doesn't actually net any kills, not even
Bana
a whole
hava
lot of
kırılır
damage.
o. Kotlar.
These AWPs went against each other, so
Tabii
many
ki önce
bullets
bilirler.
flying into middle, but nothing connecting.
Balma
Not even
mental
like they
kirilir.
didn't have full vision. Gokushima being able to creep up on
There.
top of the smoke courtesy of the
Krimon
boost
avcı
actually
tahtara.
gave him a clear line of sight. But now, HOTU, they're scratching their heads. They're unsure of where they want to eventually take this fight. Nipsey, though, feeling a little lost and walks straight into the crossers of an AWP. Keto on the other side.
Zara karakterin
Quick
adamına.
work to do.
3v3.
But Kesa suddenly put them back on the map. 3 versus 3.
Karakter
Tabson
bıdın
coming
gödürüp
in
bizim
from
adı
CT.
oldur karakter bıdın.
This is going to be a difficult B-side defense.
Key sadece giren yer. Sistil minus'a
Which is
orada.
over target. Swift
Tuggenik.
steal. He's done
Kayıp
an
bilin takıya.
incredible
Of
job of
takvat.
making things harder.
Kete.
Hype tries to creep through the molly, but suddenly
İnfabiyette.
is going to start
Kaybet
chipping
bari
away
de.
at his feet a little too much.
Krim bak bıgı ağa var diye bilirler de.
1-3 with
Gokushima
two
ağa var da 300 IQ
AWPs.
просто.
Surely they don't want to argue with this.
Наполеоз выкинет
The
все.
issue here really was
Просто
the
на
bomb.
яйца
With Tabson on
хорош.
that B site as well. I thought him maybe finding a kill would add a real
Bu
spanner in
cik
the
haha
works, but the
acaba.
fact that he loses his fight, pulls the rotations over, means that Gokushima can just grab that bomb, walk into an MTA bomb site, and that's round done and
Bitter.
dusted.
Bilirler
Signed,
bu
sealed,
oldu bu
delivered.
buldan.
Map and series point
Aa,
here
orada.
for HOTU. As big
Öyle bir
to back
şansı.
away and save
Że
these
na
two
safe
rifles.
atıldı.
There's just not the
Exit
money on
fragman var.
Crimbo to invest into the next.
Как обычно
The
мышцы
double
dur.
up setup. Just too valuable.
15 round bar.
$12,000 plus thrown in the bin here if they tried to make something happen in this one. It's definitely not the weapons you want for a retake scenario either. So there we go, HOTU.
Exit
They're
frag.
almost there. They're almost there.
Jar olatlar 1 round kaldı. 1 round.
I really appreciate this from HOTU, using their own tactical timeout to pace themselves. Even though they've got the advantage, they realize that they cannot throw it away. They recognize that Big made a mistake in the previous map that allowed them to even make it 1-0 to begin with, right?
Oturdu
We
1
could
round
be seeing
Tibet.
a 1-0 for Big right now.
Дальше барахтар.
throwback to the fact that it could have been a 16 to
2-0.
14 had the bomb been planted a second earlier. Went into overtime, became a HOTU game. Again,
Виктор, конечно, не в форме,
so
но
many
Гамбит
cases
тир-1
where
командовая.
HOTU are being
Они
dragged
kes
out
meistä
of the
adra
mud
žiltiga.
by just some individual brilliances. And that's not to that's not to say that BIG have just been overpowering them as a team. No, individual brilliance is the highlight of BIG at the moment. Tapson going 30 and 16. A tall order and he's delivering.
Да, бітеге конюлары еще курдугатлары Виктор. Так что не в форме де
Unfortunately, not
уже
too many of
адара
those kills have come in the second
канает.
half. That's when they need them.
Хорош, минус
Aggressive,
хайпет.
too much utility eventually obscures his vision enough for Gokushima to catch him uncontested.
Кухшимен 3 фраг он отдал.
Down to the 5-on-4.
5 в 4 біне
A
раскашқылық
massive
тұрынып,
opening kill,
бітір
and
просто
Hype's done a
вырвайсың
lot
алар.
more with it this game as well.
Пада вырвайсың ақтың бұды.
Last map, an early pick on
Пада
time,
кемді оқ, пада
especially when
крембары
they were
рақтың көрір.
on
Топ
that
кәлдік
CT
тұры.
side was almost
Кремба вейін
inevitable.
көрір.
It was something that was happening every single round, but this time it's worth its weight in gold as they start to press towards the A-bomb site. Crimbo does find himself one, takes a lot of damage on the mollies though, and they're not going to press
Подра
off of
скид
this.
кидлер
They
вообще,
actually went for the
дико.
secondary flashbangs before they start to
Хорош,
work their
ниндзя,
way out.
минус
Big
ниндзя,
kill
минус
shot from
скримба.
Nipsey. There's another from
No.
Swift still.
Фавен,
This is gonna be
хита
it.
хавла.
Bomb now being planted 2 versus 4. This is one that they cannot bow their head out of. Bomb and
Minus
Kito
Faven,
kill,
minus-
though,
Давай,
cannot
Кито
find
на
the
Кито.
duel right under him.
1 в 3.
Kito, he
Чарулаттар.
was brilliant in map number 1. Can he try and close this out? One on
Минус Кито. Ниндзя. Точка труда. Хорош. Вот это игра. Тир 1 команда. 2-0. Easy.